So this episode just celebrated its 14th anniversary just a few days ago. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to review this and let's go and give my I'm gonna go and give my opinion on it real quick. Um, Also, you may notice a new style. I'm just gonna try this out. We'll see how it goes. You may recognize this from Prior Rules or any other animation YouTuber who does this. So let's go and dive into it. So the theme song is fantastic. That's the first thing I want to say because I know I normally don't talk about the theme song or anything, but this episode is very, very special because it has a very good rendition of the original show's theme, and I thought I would mention that just because it's such a great thing. It ties the episode together real, real well. So I wanted to start with that. But the episode really does start with Trimerton's 13th or 300th birthday celebration. Um, and while that's going on, Ginny is fighting off Vexus and her minions. And there's a missile, and it's like heading for Trimerton, and Ginny has to try and disarm it, and she fails, causing it to blow up anyways. It just blows up off the thing. It doesn't blow up on the actual city, it just does. But the shockwave leads to everything being destroyed. The entire festival is like destroyed. It's all ruined and stuff. She defeats Vexus, and Vexus says she'll bring the cluster to her. Everyone calls her a menace for destroying the festival, and she starts to question how she can't fit in and how she's not useful. Then a portal opens up, and she gets stuck into it. The portal leads to Cluster Prime. She gets attacked by a few robots, and she manages to escape, but is inevitably captured, leading to her being enrolled in high school in Cluster Prime. There, she meets Vega, Drab, Tough, and Shell. Pretty good idea having them be robot characters of Brad, Tuck, and Sheldon. I thought that was a pretty neat touch. The cluster starts to invade Trimerton, and we have a pretty funny Wingo gag about there not being enough flanks, and Nora questions where XJ9 is. She feels like she's accepted among her new friends, and she feels like she fits in way more here. Even though, I mean, it's weird though, because even though it's not like she hasn't ever been accepted before back in Trimerton, I don't really get that. I get some nitpick, but I just wanted to mention it just because it's there. But how did I not know who she actually is? Like, who she actually looks like? Because everyone knows, I'm sure everyone knows who XG9 would be on the cluster. I mean, she's been one of the top villains. I mean, we even have a video. Is it the villain from Steven Universe movie? Anyways, we have we have a video about them spreading lies about Ginny, like her destroying golden power chips, and it's all lies, and it's obvious she's right there, it's weird. It's confusing. I'm sorry. It's a nitpick. Sorry. We cut to Nora, and Nora is gonna try and rescue Ginny from Vex's ship because that's where she thinks that she went. That's where she thinks she is. Brad Sheldon begs to go with and won't take several no's for an answer. So Nora gives Brad a laser gun. Nora and Sheldon both head to Vex's ship to rescue Ginny, but it turns out that Vexus doesn't know where Ginny is either, wondering where she is as Trimerton is being invaded. Meanwhile, Ginny becomes a superhero, like a vigilante superhero back on Cluster Prime, and she saves her robotic friends from a bolty demise. I know I love reading scripts. Brett and Tuck get pulled into a room, and it turns out to be the school principal building an army. They found out that the robots are weak to water because they're really tiny robots that are invading Trimerton right now. They're not the big ones. The big ones haven't happened yet. And Tuck, seeing as how he won't be using it because he have a war pistol, asks to get the laser gun from Brad, and Brad denies. And I want you to remember this because it comes in later. We have a funny segment with Sheldon and Nora. We learn that gumball machines hold valuable information, and we get a montage of Ginny saving people. Better than Winx Club. I mean, hey, I'll give him that. The song is actually catchy and it works. The authorities want to take Ginny in for being a vigilante. Meanwhile, the principal's armies fight a bunch of the tiny robots that I explained earlier. They think they've won the battle because they start retreating. But Smitus pressed the shiny red button and unleashes more. Everyone runs off, and Brad is the only one left. They surround Brad, and Brad shoots them with water that does nothing. They capture Brad, and Tuck screams, "Brad!" with tears in his eyes. I get what they're going for, but I'm sorry, the scene is just so laughable to me. It's not the delivery of the scream. Audrey does a great job of the delivery of the scream. It just feels so overdramatic, and anticlimactic, if that makes any sense. It's like it's also really really hard to take this seriously whenever in Boy Who Cried Robot he cries, and you know how I thought about that episode. It's also weird, especially seeing as how that laser gun, the one that I just told you to remember, just disappears and is never seen again. And even climactic, and even it's just climactic in the end, because after they show everyone being enslaved, Brad inside Mesmer's being all used as a prison, and he's held in there as a prisoner, Ginny being captured for being a vigilante back on Cluster Prime, we just see Tuck save him anyways, or just get in there, just get in there to make an escape or whatever. It's like, there's no, I don't think there's any reason for that to be there. Granted, it does start the resistance and everything, which I'll get to, but still, it just doesn't, that scene should have just been cut. It just doesn't seem, it just seems weird keeping it in. But okay, enough nitpicking. Let me talk about something good for once. In that same scene, though, Brad and Tuck start singing Mickey Momo. And nice callback to a review I did recently of I Was a Preschool Dropout. And the scene is very, very funny as well. But how the hell can Tuck hold that many CDs? I mean, I guess black holes, but I don't know how the hell he can hold like 5 fucking CDs. That tiny ass shirt, but whatever. I'm not even gonna ask any questions. The guards who captured Jenny realizes who she is. It's X-Ray 9. Oh my god, it's X-Ray 9. We also have them bringing up how the drawings are completely wrong, so even they know. And then the big dude is like, it's an artistic interpretation. I don't get it. Are they trying to tell us like the guy knows who she looks like before this? Now I'm extremely confused. Anyways, as Jenny has the authorities chasing her after she escapes from them being distracted by a plot hole, Brad and Tuck begin a resistance, freeing all the enslaved in the process. Jenny, while running, finds herself in Vexus's palace. There, Jenny finds the golden ships that everyone said she destroyed in the video or whatever about the enemy and all this other stuff. Jenny runs into Vega. Meanwhile, Sheldon and Nora make it onto Vexus's ship, and Nora and Vexus have a monologue. We then find out Vexus is Vega's mother. Yeah, I know. M. Night Shyamalan twist galore. Vega finds out Ginny is X-Ray 9, she finds the golden ships, and we're back to Nora and Vexus. Nora wants to know where X-Ray 9 is, and Vexus thought Nora knew where she was, and the both of them are very confused. Then, as Sheldon has a panic attack, he says she could be anywhere between here or Cluster Prime. Vexus realizes that's why the cluster has been calling her. So wait, she's the queen and she doesn't call, you think she'd be able to answer calls of emergency or whatever? She'd be like, oh my god, the cluster's calling me, holy shit, because she's the queen. I mean, I guess she did lie about the chips and Jenny destroying them and stuff, so meh, I guess. So Vexus leaves the ship with Sheldon and Nora still inside of it. And through the power of plot and love, I guess, Sheldon somehow manages to start off the ship and follows Vexus to Cluster Prime. Meanwhile, Vega and her friends want to help Jenny. They saw what she's doing and how they're being lied to about how bad X-Ray 9 is, and they want to help her. So they start their own resistance with the golden ships helping them. Meanwhile, Smidus has Brad in his grasp as Tuck threatens Smidus to put him down. Smidus starts laughing, but soon everyone else joins Tuck. Meanwhile, Vega has a plan to broadcast the news of the lies to the cluster. Ginny plugs herself into a tower and records, and they broadcast around Cluster Prime that they were lied to about X-Ray 9. But Vexus stops the broadcast by tackling Ginny to the ground. Back with Tuck, Smidus gives in to his demands to set everyone free, but says they are going to destroy the planet. Then, Brad and Tuck get sucked into a vacuum cleaner portal. I don't know why that's the thing, but whatever, I guess. Ginny reveals to Vexus that everyone knows her for lies, and Vexus starts finding Ginny. Nora and Sheldon arrive in the ship. Nora jumps into the fight and helps Ginny. As Nora is welling on Vexus, Vexus asks Vega to help her destroy Nora, but Vega refuses, instead pouring off the golden chips, giving all the robots their powers back. Everyone in the cluster flies up to assist Ginny with Vexus, but Vexus runs away. Vega becomes the new queen of Cluster Prime, and she asks if Ginny wants to help her rule the planet. Sheldon comes out of the ship, pleading for Ginny to come home. Ginny asks her mother for advice, and she says that's her decision. And just as she's about to make up her mind, plot portal opens up, and Brad and Tuck fall onto the rooftop. Brad tells Ginny Smitus is planning to blow up the planet. Ginny tells Vega that she doesn't need to be here anymore, but she'll come back and visit at some point. Sheldon becomes Han Solo and rams Smitus' ship. Smitus gets confronted by Ginny. Smitus has a monologue about how he has one last trick up his sleeve, and he's gonna self-destruct. And for some reason, it's in 10 seconds. Just enough time for Ginny to throw the ship into orbit and have it explode. Ginny gets a medal and finally feels needed. They all hug, except for Sheldon, and that's the end of the episode. Alright, so my final thoughts. I absolutely adored the humor in this episode. There's a lot of good jokes. There's a few things I chuckle at. Very, very funny episode. Very, very good to break up the very menacing tone and very, very weird tone that the show was not used to. It's very, very good to a certain extent. The action is also great. The story is superb. I love the story. I love the fact that Ginny, although it's cliche, Ginny goes from "Oh my God, I'm not needed. No one needs me anymore" to "Oh my God, I'm needed." The theme song rendition, I already said, it's fantastic. It's amazing. But I feel the scene with Tuck screaming is just way too overdramatic. I tried to ignore this, but if it made me laugh, it's not good. It isn't good. It just feels way too overdramatic. It just doesn't do it for me. The laser gun disappearing is also very odd watching it back, but that's very, very small, and I'm not really going to count that towards the final rating. The whole thing about them not recognizing who XJ9 is weird, and it's just confusing as hell, but everything else is fantastic, and it only knocks a few points off the score regardless. Nevertheless, 14 years after its airing, it still holds up remarkably well at an 8 out of 10. Nitpicks not included. Just thought I mentioned that. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.